Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelisse for those that are new here, and if you are returning, thank you for coming back. I know I've been a little MIA since like October, but the semester got really crazy. We start school on Monday. Today is January 8th, 9th. We start school on Monday, and the break was also crazy. So I didn't really get to do what I had planned to do, a bunch of videos and upload and start like a sequence. But here we are today, and in today's video I am just going to talk about what second semester was like for me. So let's get started. So second semester for me was really good. It was a little less stressful than first semester because first semester was very go 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 because there were so many tests and so much to do and so much new. Second semester was a little easier. The first 2 weeks we didn't have clinical, and then after that we started clinical, and then we went up until November, and then like the first or the second week of November, and then after that our clinicals ended, and then we did 2 different clinical sites, and we did different things at each site, which was really nice. The second semester education wise, like in class portion, covered med surg and a little bit of pediatric, but it wasn't really focused on pediatric. It was just like, if you see this in a kid, what would you do? So we covered a lot of body systems, so renal, GI, musculoskeletal, like orthopedic stuff, diabetes, nutrition, IVs, catheters, things like that. And then for cancer, we did cancer, and then I also took pharmacology. And then for clinical we did 3, 4, 5 weeks at one site, and then 5 weeks at another, or it might be 6 and 6, I can't remember. But at the first hospital, I think I talked about this in a previous vlog, but if not, I'll say it again. At the first hospital we did med surg. We did different rotations every week. We did med surg, ER, surgery, and GI lab. And then in the second hospital we did rotations also every time we went, like every week. And then that was med surg, ER, ICU. In the first hospital we did 1 day, and it was like 10-hour day, and then the second hospital we did 2 5-hour days. Second hospital was a little, I liked them both, but the schedule of the second hospital was a little more intense, and that's what made the end of the semester a little more hectic and stressful, because it was Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 9 p.m. and it's like, you think 9 p.m. you're leaving, but 9 p.m. is 9 o'clock meds. So we would start giving those out at 8, and just depending on all 8 of us that were part of our clinical group had to give meds, and sometimes it was more than others, and it was just a mess. So we ended up almost always leaving like 9:30, 9:45. I live about 35 minutes from that clinical site, so I would get home like at 10. And then at first you're like, that's easy, like you get home, you eat, you take a shower. It's like shocking, like you get home and you're like fully awake, and it's hard to go to sleep, and your brain is still like wired. So you'd have to calm down and then fall asleep late, and then the next day go to class or have the day off or whatever it is. But overall I really liked the semester, and I did really well this semester. I didn't do bad first semester, but this semester I kind of thrived a little more. I got comfortable with myself clinical wise, and studying wise I was able to just mostly study by myself because the schedule was so hectic. It was hard to get into groups. I really learned how to do things independently and how to push myself, which I didn't do it above and beyond. I like learned how to start pushing myself to do things without anybody being by my side, doing it by myself, hospital and class wise. I gained a lot of confidence, but now I am ready to push through and keep doing that now in third semester, because we only have 1 more year left, so that means 2 more semesters. So we start on Monday. Once I finish this third semester, we only have 1 more left, so we're due to graduate December 2020. which I'm so excited. So I think the last time I updated you guys, we did the GI test, which I did okay. Grading scale is a little different in nursing school. I'm sure you guys know that, and if you don't, it is different. In our school, you have to make an 80 or above to pass the class. Most of my tests I did pretty good. I got a high B or an A on them. So then after GI, it was renal, I think, and then musculoskeletal. In total, we had 5 tests, and that included the final plus ATI. The 5 tests were pretty hard, challenging application. You needed to know the material, if not, you weren't going to pass. But I did pretty decent in all of them. On one of the last ones, I got 100, which I was so excited for. I never thought I was going to do that. I'm not bragging at all, but that was like an achievement for me, and it like boosted my confidence. But anyways, so then we did that. We took the ATI test, which is like a test to see where you are, and it's part of your grade. I think it was worth maybe 3%, 6% of our grade, versus last semester it was 12% of our grade. And what we do is we just, it's like one general test. It's like if you're going to be taking the NCLEX. And obviously we don't know all of that information, but we should know a little bit of it because we're halfway through. So we know the fundamentals and some of the med surg. So what they do is that, since nobody's gonna like pass with flying colors because there's a lot of information we don't know, is that they convert the grade, and then I did okay on that. I passed it, and passed it as in the converted grade, not ATI grade, but I'm not worried about it. And then came finals, which was really hard to study for, because once you've gone through like an exhausting semester and then you take ATI and then it's time for finals, like the last thing you want to do is study for your final. So all I did was study my like weakest points. I went and took the final. I got like a B, which I was satisfied with. At the end, we all ended up going to eat, which was really nice. And we just talked about the semester and about next semester and how excited we were. That was like on a Wednesday. And then on Friday, I had heard that my grandma passed away. So on Saturday, I left to Puerto Rico for a week. It was like a crazy week, and then once I got back, I got back on a Saturday, and then I had Sunday off, and then Monday we left to Tennessee because we already had plans to spend Christmas with my sister-in-law, my nieces, my nephews, my brother, my father-in-law. So we did that, and then we came back last Friday. And I've had this week to like reorganize the house, get my stuff together, buy some books, buy materials that I need, put some patches on some new scrubs, and then Monday we start already. And technically our school is, our classes are always Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and then the end of the week are our clinicals. But next week we have to do orientation on Monday, class, and then like a CPI training, which is because we're going to be taking a psych clinical, so we're going to need to know like crisis mode if something were to happen, how to protect ourselves. Every semester, at the beginning of the semester, we have to take a dosage quiz, and you have to get it 90 or above to continue with the semester. If you don't, then you can't continue with the semester. So we're doing that next week. So next week's going to be pretty busy, but it's not going to be like time consuming. We just have something to do for school every single day, which is unusual. They already sent us our clinical schedule, so we're going to be split up into 3 groups. And the cool thing about my program is LPNs and medics, they have a bridge program, so they come into it our 3rd semester. So we're going to have LPNs and medics with us this semester. And so we're in 3 groups. We're going to be doing a rehab center, psych, OB, and med surg, and then OB is like OB and postpartum. So that's gonna be really cool. I'm so excited but nervous for this semester because it's gonna be so much more like hands-on. And last semester it was just like that, like it felt like I truly was the nurse because I came in, I did the assessments, I gave meds, I talked to the patient, I saw how they were, I saw labs. I was able to explain labs. I knew what I was doing. I got to do like an in and out in the ER. We got to do IVs. I watched somebody put in a Foley, like a classmate of mine, to see how it was versus the dummy. I didn't get a chance to do it, but that's fine. My classmates got a patient that they thought she had MRSA, so she was on she had to go in and out with PPE, so it was kind of funny seeing that on contact precautions. And then she was like kind of a needy patient, so she was always ringing the bell, so we never saw her classmate that day. But it was nice. We got to learn a lot, and I'm really excited for this semester. Psych is going to be a little scary, so that's like an hour away from here, and it's then we're going to be in one ward, and then they lock you up in the ward, and then it's at night, so I think that's what's going to be really interesting. But I'm excited. I keep thinking about that Jack is that his name? Jack Nicholson movie of A Bird Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest, or Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. I keep thinking that's going to be our experience, but maybe it won't be. But I'm excited. So I think coming from first semester to second semester, a lot of differences are you have more responsibility as a student nurse. So first semester we did a lot of stuff. I don't know if this is at all schools, but our school's like this. First semester we did a lot of bathing. We did a lot of just like the basics to learn. We had to do manual vitals on everybody that we had. We had to do 5-minute assessments, proper documentation, all that stuff. And we gave meds, but it wasn't like heavy influenced. This semester it was a little more like we got there really early. At one, when we did patients, we got there right when the nurse was getting report, so we were able to hear from the other nurse how our patient was doing, and everything that happened with our patient went through us, and then we would just report it to the nurse that actually had the patient that works at the facility. We gave meds. We did everything, like any changes, linen changes, if we had to change food, if we had to fix something with the pharmacy or something, we would just do that with our instructor. So that was really nice. And the patients were like all types of patients: GI bleeds, pneumonia, all that stuff. We got to see dressing changes, sterile dressing changes, all that kind of stuff. And then in the ER we got to see like the differences between med-surg floor and the ER, which is totally different because you're not checking in on one patient your entire shift. It's like a rolling door, so you're seeing a bunch of patients. And at one facility they had like 10 beds, and that was it, and then they would just prioritize them based on importance. And then at the other facility they had 2 different kind of like ERs, and one ER they had the fast pace and then the fast lane, and then they had like the more critical area. The fast lane was more like if people came up with symptoms of the flu, they might think something's broken, something that's going to take a little longer, or something quicker, I mean not longer, to get them in and out, versus like the critical side is something that they're going to run a bunch of tests and it's going to take a little longer to get those tests back, and basically to just not slow down that pipeline. And then that's where I got to do the in and out, which I was so nervous for, because doing like sterile stuff when you're practicing in the lab with a dummy, you're like, oh yeah, I'm sterile, like you're practicing it like perfectly. But doing it in front of the nurse practitioner, the LPN, the patient, and then like you have to find your way and how comfortable you are. One thing I would say is that if you are nervous, do it, and tell whoever's with you that you're nervous and that it's your first time, and don't be scared to be like, hey, can you walk me through this? Or as you're doing it, hey, where do you think it's best that I set up the kit so that I don't break sterility? Or how do you do it normally? where, because it's awkward for me, I don't know if I should put it here, I don't know, you know. Always ask questions. Don't think you're gonna be annoying, and if you are, there's always gonna be somebody else that you could ask, or if you're like me, you just ask it anyways and be annoying. Because I mean, part of it is like your education is in your clinical instructor's hands, and these nurses, they're not working for your school, you know, but they're there also to help you. But the other part is that you have to be in charge of your education, how far you want to learn and how far you want to do stuff in nursing school. Because if you sit back like a fly on the wall, that's exactly what you're going to be. They're not going to ask you to do things. They're not going to push you. They're not going to come and find you when they have something cool so that you can do it instead of them. You want to maintain and show them that you're interested in doing whatever's next, and that you're nervous about it and stuff, but that you're willing to do it. We also did sim lab, and sim lab was super cool because it was like at a hospital an hour away, and what they do is it's a dummy that simulates, it's like a computer, and it simulates a real life human. So it breathes, it gets cyanosis, it pees, you can inject medicine, and based on like how the equipment, it knows what medicine you're giving it, how much you're giving it. If it's too much, whoever's running it can add KUBs. They can pull up an MRI, old labs, stuff like that. So it's really cool. So you just get tested. Ours was over renal function, and it was really cool. We had to piece together everything that was happening, and it turned out that our guy had kidney stones, and a stone got blocked in his catheter, and that was backing up the flow and making it look like he had acute kidney injury, but then it led to acute kidney injury. So it was pretty interesting. It was like 6 or 7 of us, and we were like going frantic, and each of us had a different role. Like one was primary nurse, one was secondary nurse, one was a writer, so they couldn't say anything, one gave meds, stuff like that. And then the primary nurse had to like be in charge, technically like the charge nurse, but she was actually like the nurse of the patient. She was in charge of the patient. She just had to tell us what to do. So that was nice. I thought that was cool. Some of the girls liked it but didn't see how effective it was, which I would also agree, just because of how this scenario played out. I wonder if you could hear that helicopter. Why does it sound so close? We live a couple miles from like the training center. They don't train directly there, but they like bring people in and out through there. That was my second semester. This semester I have a couple goals for this semester. I'm going to do that in a different video, and one of my goals is to also keep making YouTube videos. So hopefully this weekend, today I'm filming, I'm going to try to film tomorrow. I have like a list of videos I want to do. That was my second semester. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was a little helpful. If you have any questions, just drop them down below in the comments. And if you are new here and you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and click in the corner. It's either this one or this one, and it has like a little symbol, and you could click there to subscribe. If you're on a computer, if you're on your phone, just subscribe down below and give this video a thumbs up while you're there. I want to really try to grow my channel this year and do it as a hobby. But yeah, we will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.